هيدا قديم ولا هلا هذا؟ شوف انت تسجل عندك.
هلا بس هلا
Marhaba. Good evening.
مرحبتين.
Kalimera. Kalispera. Hello, my friends, my colleagues, my families from all around the world. Again and again, another webinar with the three legends. And before we start, make sure to see us, hear us, and at the same time, for everyone that who needs translator, you can click on the button down in the Zoom account, and you can choose the Arabic language, Greek, or English. Okay, so we have our translator with us until direct translation live during all this session. And at the same time, for everyone, if you cannot join us in the Zoom, you can watch us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram on Bliss Beirut Life Insurance Seminars. To hold in one hand the great past with the promising future is rare, exciting, and even frightening. Bliss Webinars works hard to provide the best tips, lessons through the best speakers, the best mentors, the best teachers, the best inspires, and everything that can elevate the insurance agent and the life insurance profession to the top of refiners. This is what we'll present today in this important and precious webinar. However, this valuable and exciting achievement at the same time has also become somehow disturbing, because after we combine giants and real living legends in the full sense of the word, how will we maintain the same level? What can we present next? Still, we are ready for this challenge, and we promise you that we will work hard to continue to move forward. Our mission is certainly very difficult. Still, we will be always up to the challenge, whether in terms of performance or in terms of high and precious level that we bring in Bliss webinars and Bliss seminars. Three legends, living legends, three giants, three godfathers of our noble profession. From the Far East India, based in Dubai, Mr. Ram Toulani. From the European Cyprus, Mr. Charalambos Stylianidis. And from the Middle East Lebanon, Mr. Habib Shammas. The rare unified image of this group is enough to give us what we aspire to get from this webinar. Some people work to live, others, they live to work. As for the greatest, are the ones who elevate their work to prove their love to life and success. Those three living legends that refuse to retire, and here today to prove that continuing to work and not retiring is the embodiment of the level of life. Yes, giants will not retire. They don't believe in retirement, not because they were not satisfied with what they have achieved. On the contrary, but because they see continuing to work to express their gratitude for life and God, and for all what they have given. And just as we unite these three giants, we also combined the youngest member of the $1 Million Roundtable MDRT with the oldest MDRT member, if we can say, between my friend, the very well-known brother, the Mahatma of the life insurance, Dr. Sanjay Toulani, and the oldest member of MDRT, Mr. Charalambos Stylianidis. We were also able to combine in this webinar for the first time between the legend and the legend behind the legend, between the father and the son, Mr. Ram Toulani and Mr. Sanjay Toulani. All this without forgetting the Lebanese version of these giants, the dreamy traveler, the permanent traveler bag holder, Mr. Habib Shammas. And now my friend and my brother, Sanjay, I will give you the most difficult task or job to introduce Mr. Ram Toulani as an insurance agent, as a manager, as a business owner, as his father, and as a human being. Sanjay, the floor is yours. Sanjay,
We can't hear you.
we can't hear you, Sanjay. Sanjay, the floor is yours. Yeah, now, Sanjay.
Okay, can you hear me? Excellent. All right. Well, like I said, I think you've given me the most difficult task, which is to introduce my own father. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a quick introduction.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Ram Tolani started his insurance career in the same year that I was born. And since then, he has been not just a legendary producer himself, but he's also my own mentor. The first person who mentored me in this business. He's achieved some of the highest levels of production, client servicing, claims paid out in this country and in the region. And one of the most important things that I've realized is I don't think I joined this business because I love insurance. I joined this business because he loves insurance. And because he loves insurance so much, that passion just overflowed onto me, and it allowed me to become a part of this business. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do introduce my father to you. He is the man behind everything that I have achieved so far. And it is my biggest honor. And I think it is with great humbleness that I can introduce my father to each one of you. So, every one of you that's listening in, if you really want to know who I am, today you know exactly where the roots are. And they always say that the fruit doesn't fall very far from the tree. And that's exactly what I am today, a fruit of the tree that he is.
Sanjay, we want to thank Ram Tolani for the biggest gift he gave to our life. It's the Dr. Sanjay Tolani. And now I will go to Cyprus, to my friend Lucas Tsoukas, an MDRT member for almost 11 years, an agent for almost 25 years, one of the top producer in Cyprus. The man, a friend, a brother, that he introduced me to my second family in Cyprus, the MDRT family, my MDRT family, MCC Cyprus, because he made the link between Cyprus and Lebanon. And now Lucas, the floor is yours to introduce for us Mr. Charalambos Stylianidis. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Nanji. Thank you so much for these nice things you said about me. And thank you even more for all these things you do for our profession. It's a great honor for me to be part of this meeting with these great legends. And it's even bigger honor to present our legend in Cyprus, Mr. Charalambos Stylianidis. Όπως έχω πει πριν, είναι μεγάλη μου τιμή που μου δίνεται η ευκαιρία να παρουσιάσω τον κύριο Χαράλαμπο Stylianidis. Έναν άνθρωπο που σε αυτήν τη διαδρομή ήταν υπόδειγμα τόσο για τον επαγγελματισμό του όσο και για το ήθος του. Για μένα, το πιο εντυπωσιακό που έκανε σε αυτήν τη διαδρομή δεν ήταν μόνο η πρωτιά και η παραγωγικότητα του όλα αυτά τα χρόνια, αλλά περισσότερο το ότι ένα άτομο που βρίσκεται στην ηλικία των 85 ετών συνεχίζει να εργάζεται και να πληρεί τα κριτήρια για το MDRT. Ο κύριος Stylianidis τα τελευταία 12 χρόνια έχει παρακολουθήσει περισσότερο από 10 συνέδρια στην Αμερική. Σίγουρα η διαβίου μάθηση είναι αυτό που το χαρακτηρίζει και πρέπει να γίνει παράδειγμα για όλους εμάς.
And now I will give the floor to the most ethical, professional, classy lady, the MDRT Country Chair of Lebanon, Rima Antonios, to share with us, to introduce for us the living legend, the Lebanese living legend, Mr. Habib Shammas. Rima, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for making me part of this event. من بيروت بلش مسيرته، شاب صغير فقير يتيم البي، من الصفر أو من تحت الصفر قلع وعاش مثل السندباد. بس الفرق إنه السندباد كان عم بفتش عن الكنوز، بس هو كان عم يصنعها. مستر حبيب شماس، thank you. It's a pleasure to have you today. أنا كتير فخورة إنه أنا عم بعرف عنك اليوم. منحب نسمعك بدقيقة تخبرنا شوي عن خبرتك بالحياة وعن خبرتك بهالمهنة. The floor is yours.
Kindly tell us about yourself.
أنا بشكركم على المناسبة هاي وبشكر القائمين عليها. ما في جيل للكلام أكثر ما يعني شو بدي لكم. كثير أنا ممنون كثير ممنون إنه أنا قاعد معكم عم بسمعكم وبطلب من الله أن يوفقكم مثل ما الله وفقني. كل واحد الموضوع وما فيه إنه يلي بفكره ينجح بينجح، وأنا ممنون كثير إنه أنا أخذت هالمهنة. الله وفقني بهالمهنة تعمل مستقبل.
ونحن بنقول مستر حبيب الله يطول بعمرك. God bless you and bless all the effort that you gave for many years for this profession. And during this session, we will be talking with you and take many ideas from you. And
بقدر أكمل يعني بدكم ياني أكمل؟
please.
أنا هيدي المهنة بحبها كثير، وإذا بإمكاني يجيني فرصة أروح أشتغل الآن وكمل أنا مستعد، لأنه مصلحة التأمين يعني ما في أحلى من هيك مصلحة. عم تخدم الناس، بتخليهم يأمنوا حياتهم للمستقبل، عم تقنعهم يوفروا مصاري للمستقبل. ما في أحسن من هالمصلحة، أعطيني ثاني أحسن من هاي. وبطلب من الجميع إنه يوضعوا نفسهم بهالكارير هيدا بهالعمل ويقوموا بواجبهم، لأن كثير بحاجة. لأنه كثيرين الناس بحاجة للوكلاء للبياعين التأمين، حتى نروح نعطي الفكرة، نبيع الفكرة ونعطيهم خدماتنا. وبطلب منكم إنه تحضروا تتعاملوا مع شركات محترمة. وشو بدي اقول لك، بقدر بحكي ساعات عن هالمصلحه هيدي. انا احبها.
مستر شماس لإلك، حضرتك نقيت تشتغل بدبي بأول حياتك المهنية.
أول بديتها
برأيك هي البلد اللي ساعدت إنك يكون عندك هالسكسس ستوري، هالنجاح الكبير؟
لا، يلي ساعدني أو بالبداية بيروت. لما اشتغلت بالشركة كموظف. بعدين كاش كولكتر. ورا هالوظيفة هاي تعلمت واقتنعت انه انا لازم كمل حياتي بهالمصلحة هيدي. بس عرفت من انه بدهم يفتحوا فرع في العراق، اول عمل عملته انه طلعت فيزا ورحت للعراق. بعدين من العراق بعد الانقلاب رحت على البحرين عملت، وبعدين كرست شباب بالبحرين يلي صاروا مدراء بالسعودية. يونت مانجرز وايجنسي مانجرز بالسعودية العربية، سعودي عربية. وبعد البحرين رحت لدبي.
Yes.
Then قطر. Afterwards رجعت لدبي وركزت بدبي. وركزت حالي بدبي.
We have a technical problem. Sanji, can you hear Mr. Shammas? Okay.
نعم تسمعوني؟
Yes.
نعم. من دبي رحت لأبو ظبي، فتحت فرع بأبو ظبي. تسمعوا؟
Yes.
ومن أبو ظبي رحت لصنعاء. بعدين رحت على اليمن، عينت وكلاء باليمن وبصنعاء يسمون. المهم انه امك بواجباتي بهالمهنه هاي لاكثر شيء ممكن، لاقوى شيء ممكن.
هل سفر كله هو السبب اللي خليك تنجح بهاي المهنة، أو كان فيك تعمل زيت النجاح ببلدك بلبنان؟ كان السفر تعتبر ضروري لحتى الواحد يعمل نجاح؟
لا، مش بتتوقف على المنطقة يلي بده يسافر لها. هل في مجال انه يعمل شو المنطقة متى انه بروح وبيجرب وبيشتغل. اول شيء انا حبيت المصلحة بشكل لانه بتخليني سافر وتعرف على الناس المثقفين، اتعرف على التجار، اتعرف يعني هيدي educated people business people. هي راس مال لإلي، لانه وكل ما بتعرفي على الناس كل ما راس مالك بيزيد. وبطلب من كل وكيل تأمين يتعرف على ناس كل يوم يزيد اسمين على الليسته اللي عنده. ايوه، هيدا الراس مال، وانت بتكون عم تخدم الناس. فما بعرف اذا كان في عندكم اي سؤال بتحبوا تسالوه بعد. Mr. Naji, do you have anything to say? نعم. ما عم بسمعكم ولا عم تسمعوني. نعم.
Lucas, can you hear us?
Yes. Εγώ σε ακούω. Εγώ ακούω. Είμαι ο μόνος που ακούω τον Νάτζι. Νάτζι.
نعم.
Τώρα όχι πάλι.
ما عم يمشي الحال مبين.
Θέλω να ακούσετε αυτή την πικρή ιστορία από το θρύλο που έχουμε εμείς εδώ στην Κύπρο, τον κύριο Χαράλαμπο Στυλιανίδη. Κύριε Χαράλαμπε, ο λόγος σε εσάς.
Good afternoon, my dear friends of MDRT. Καλή σας μέρα, αγαπητοί μου συνάδελφοι του MDRT. Ξεκίνησα το επάγγελμα του ασφαλιστή πριν από 65 χρόνια. Μάλλον πολλοί από εσάς ήσασταν αγέννητοι. Στην αρχή εργάστηκα σαν εισπράκτορας σε ασφαλιστικό γραφείο για περίπου 6 χρόνια. Γνώσεις για ασφαλιστικά προγράμματα ανύπαρκτα. Σεμινάρια καθόλου. Παπαγαλιστή έμαθα βασικά πράγματα για ασφάλειες ζωής. Καθόλου quotations, computers και τα λοιπά άγνωστα. Προμήθειες πολύ λίγες. Τότε ίσχυε η προσωπική εμπιστοσύνη και η πειθό. Το μοναδικό σχέδιο που πουλούσα ήταν το Endowment with Profits για 20 χρόνια. Και όταν με ρωτούσαν οι πελάτες για το ποσό της λήξης, απαντούσα ότι θα διπλασιαστούν οι καταθέσεις τους και ικανοποιούνταν. Αφού πέρασε όμως η πρώτη 20 ετία και οι πελάτες έπαιρναν περισσότερα από αυτά που υποσχόμουν, τότε άλλαξε και η σιγουριά ότι αυτό που πουλούσα είχε συμφέρον τους ανθρώπους που με εμπιστεύονταν. Είχα παραδείγματα να λέω και ταυτόχρονα απέκτησα το goodwill των πελατών μου. Οι συστάσεις μεγάλωναν και η ενέργειά μου στο full. Εργαζόμουν ακούραστα όλη την εβδομάδα. Κάθε Σάββατο απόγευμα άρχιζα περιοδία κάπου στα χωριά και τα ραντεβού ήταν στα καφενεία. Το τελευταίο χωριό ήταν γύρω στα μεσάνυχτα. Σίγουροι πελάτες ήταν τότε δημόσιοι υπάλληλοι, αστυνομικοί, δασοφύλακες, νοσηλευτές, δασκάλοι και καθηγητές. Δεν είχα ποτέ ωράριο στη δουλειά μου. Μεσάνυχτα έκλεισα συμβόλαια σε νοσηλευτές που δεν νυχτέρευαν. Στην τσέπη μου είχα πάντοτε proposals. Όπου βρισκόμουν μιλούσα για ασφάλειες. Στο πυρετήριο του αεροπλάνου, στο ιερό της εκκλησίας, στις κηδείες, στους γάμους και στο κυνήγι. Το 99 σε ένα μήνα έκανα 80 συμβόλαια λόγω χρηματιστικού φυσικά. Κατάφερα ότι θέση Κυπριος στο πρώτο Ελληνικό Συνέδριο Κορυφαίων Ασφαλιστών της Λίμπρα στην Αθήνα. Αγώνα στο γυμνάσιο έτρεξα στα 5.000 μέτρα. Δεν άφησα κανέναν να με προσπεράσει. Τα κατάφερα πρώτος. Το ίδιο παράδειγμα και για 22 χρόνια ήθελα να πρωτεύω στη δουλειά μου. Στην καριέρα μου έπαιξαν ρόλο οι εξής παράγοντες. Πρώτον, από τα παιδικά μου χρόνια μέχρι σήμερα εκκλησιάζομαι ανελιπώς και πιστεύω ότι με βοηθά πολύ. Δεύτερον, είχα μια συνεργάσιμη σύζυγο που με ενθάρρυνε πολύ. Δεν διαμαρτυρήθηκε ποτέ γιατί εργαζόμουν αργά και έφευγα σε περιοδίες. Τρίτον, είχα μια εξαιρετική βοηθό, τη Χριστάλλα, που για 50 χρόνια με βοηθούσε στην εσωτερική εργασία. Είμαι περήφανος για το επάγγελμα και όπου βρεθώ ότι το επάγγελμα του ασφαλιστή είναι το καλύτερο του κόσμου. Γιατί υπάρχει δουλειά όλων των 24 ώρων. Βγάζεις όσα λεφτά θέλεις. Και τρίτον, από τα βραβεία είχα ταξίδια σε όλον τον κόσμο. Χρειαζόμαστε στο επάγγελμά μας εργατικότητα, τιμιότητα, προγραμματισμό και όρεξη. Συνεχίζω για 4 γενιές πελατών. Από δεσποτάδες, αρχιμανδρίτες, παπάδες, υπουργούς, προξένους, διευθυντές υπουργείων, επιχειρηματίες, μέχρι απλούς πολίτες. Εκτός των ασφαλιστικών μου δραστηριοτήτων, είχα και τα χόπι μου. Διοργάνωνα στο χωριό μου φεστιβάλ δακίνου για 13 χρόνια. Ασχολούμαι με το κυνήγι που σε αυτό είχα κάνει πάρα πολλούς πελάτες. Κάποτε ακούω συναδέλφους να παραπονιούνται για παραγωγή λόγω ανεργίας, πολέμου, lockdown κτλ. Στο επάγγελμα του ασφαλιστή αυτά είναι δικαιολογίες για απραξία. Στον πόλεμο του 1974 κατέληξα στο χωριό μου και με τον κύκλο που είχα στα 10 χωριά και τη Λεμεσό δεν σταμάτησα να εργάζομαι στο lockdown του 20. Έκανα διπλάσια παραγωγή από το στόχο μου και περισσότερη του 19. Για 11 χρόνια πάω στο annual meeting MDRT και είχα πολύ καλές βοηθητικές εμπειρίες. Επίσης, με βοήθησαν τα συνέδρια της Λίμπρα. Η Universal Life, με στήριξη του κυρίου Γεωργίου, συνέτεινε πολύ στις επιτυχίες μου. Στη ζωή μου είχα 3 αγάπες. Την εκκλησία, την οικογένεια μου και τη δουλειά μου. Αν ήθελα με τα σημερινά μου δεδομένα και αν ακολουθούσα την τεχνολογία, άνετα θα μπορούσα να περάσω 1,5 εκατομμύριο παραγωγής το χρόνο. Αλλά γιατί? Τώρα δουλεύω 15 ώρες την εβδομάδα και τον υπόλοιπο μου χρόνο στον κήπο και στα περιβόλια μου στο χωριό. Κατάφερα να εντάξω στο επάγγελμα τα 2 παιδιά μου, Πέτρο και Πάπα. Με δικά τους γραφεία και μαζί τους ακολουθεί η εγγονή μου Σίλβια. Σκοπός μου, αυτά που ανέφερα, δεν είναι για αυτοπροβολή, αλλά για παραδειγματισμό των νεαρών μας συναδέλφων. Thank you.
Naji, we can't hear you.
Mr.
Sorry,
Naji, I don't hear you. Όχι ακόμα.
Take the floor.
Yeah.
And give the floor the second questions to Mr.
Naji, we can hear you now. We can hear you.
Ah, great. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the technical problem today. To put all these legends in one place, it's not easy on the technology part. Wow, I was saying, wow, what an exceptional story. It took you 20 years to convince your clients about the importance of insurance. Now, and with technology, we can show all the consumer in one link about life insurance. So what a great job you did for the last year and for all these years, Mr. Sharambos. Really, what a great story. And now, let's move to the legend behind the legend, to Ram Tulani, Sanjay. Or let me ask the first question for Mr. Tulani. You have a specific question or a quote, always you say, if you never try, you will never win. Is your favorite quote. Tell us about it and the importance of it. Thank you.
It has been said by many leaders in the world in past ever that if we don't try, we will never achieve anything. Napoleon had said, impossible does not exist in his dictionary. And the same way is being said by many leaders all over again and again. So I had followed same in my childhood that if we don't try, we can never achieve. So first of all, try. And don't be afraid of failure. Failure is not any default. If you don't try, then it is failure. So try. That is what is the meaning behind that. Keep trying and be assured that success will follow you. Naji, let me ask the next question to him. And I love asking him this question because I've always wanted to ask him this question, but I've never got the opportunity to ask in front of each one of you. I know that so many of you have always asked me this question. Sanjay, what made you successful, right? So I'm going to ask Dad the same question. I'm like, Dad, what is the biggest regret you have in this business? I have biggest regret that why did I not start promoting in the beginning itself the larger cases. I was initially trying only smaller cases, one after one, every day one policy. But why? Why not one policy in a week, but try bigger one? So I did not try bigger cases in the beginning, and that was the biggest regret which I have. And I would suggest to every newcomer in the business that don't be afraid of promoting bigger cases to the prospect. Don't underestimate your prospect. Today the money has lost its value. So start with million, 5 million, $10 million, go up to 50 million and 100 million. Don't be afraid of quoting this kind of figure. When you quote 50 million, he will come to 20 million. But if you start with 1 million, he will come to $500,000. So be on bigger cases rather than smaller cases. Okay, so let me ask an important question. You're telling people to sell bigger cases. But the question is, what story can they use to sell these big cases? I have heard the story of what is Nobel Prize. Anybody who gets Nobel Prize, he becomes overnight from unknown to known. Now, what did Mr. Nobel do? He had a fund which started giving the prize, and that made him today live for the rest of the till infinity. So if you want to start some that kind of larger funds, you need money for that, and that comes from the insurance. You don't have to have a bigger pocket, deep pocket with you. Buy a larger policies and be assured that after you are gone, this pot will come and you can start through your will a larger something to be remembered in your absence. Like it is said that death comes twice in lifetime. First time is when we breathe last time, and second time when our name is uttered last time. Now, how can we keep our name remembered ever? That is the only way that we do something for the society, that people don't forget us. Like I have taken a larger policy for myself that whenever I'm gone, that policy will be placed under trust and a reward will be started like Ram Tolani or Seema Ramtolani youngest PhD award. Now we will give $300,000 to the person who does the youngest PhD during that particular year. We'll start from one of the university where my son Sanjay did his PhD. Like for example, I'll go to this very clear example. That first year we'll start after I'm gone in UD. That whoever does PhD fastest, he'll get 3 years his fee, which is approximately $300,000, and next year it will go from UD to top universities of Dubai, and then it will go to UAE, it will go to Middle East, it will go to the world, and this way, this name will become famous, and we'll start giving $300,000 least to the person who does his PhD, and this way our name will become. Now, from where do I get $300,000 for rest of the life? It will come from the larger policy, which I'll buy, which I have already bought it, and that will pay off. Now, $15 million policy, which I have taken, that will earn least 5% per annum, which is $750,000. We will give $300,000 first year. Inflation adjusted, it will go, but again, my pot is also increasing. So start selling bigger policies and be assured that your clients will appreciate that you are suggesting them to be remembered for infinity until the world is existing. Like Nobel. Mr. Nobel will never be forgotten. That's what I have understood and thought and explained to the people. So guys, one thing I do want to tell you this, right? That this concept has allowed me to do my TOT on literally a monthly basis. It was just this concept. And when he's sharing this concept, he told me this and I thought it doesn't work. The most important thing that I can tell each one of you is we are two generations sitting over here. There's a generation that has done it and there's a generation that's currently doing it. Now, the interesting thing is, till today, he uses the same strategy with every single client that he meets. He talks about how to create a real legacy for yourself. And one of the simplest ways to create a legacy for yourself is by using these examples of creating funds that would allow you to be memorable. Dad, I do want to ask you another very important question. That let's say you are a new advisor joining this business, right? What advice would you give to this new advisor? Whenever you are new in the business, first start policy for yourself, within your family, within your close friend circle, and then they will give you lead after lead. This is what I had done. When I started my insurance career, I took first policy for myself, then policy for my father, mother, brothers, sisters, our close friends, and then leads started coming one after another. And once we have that policy in hand, we can show to people that, listen, I trust this business, I trust this company, and therefore I have insured myself. Now it is your turn to trust yourself and protect your family. And people will trust you much better than otherwise. Now, the next question that I want to ask you, Dad, is do you still continue to study and learn even at this age in this career? It is always said by every visionary that until we live, one has to keep studying. We have to keep reading. We have to keep hearing stories. We have to meet people. We have to meet younger and senior. Today, why younger? Because younger have got different strategies than the older. Old dogs cannot be taught new tricks. Therefore, we have to learn from the younger generation. Like today, I'm learning so many things from you and from your friends. And so as my friends, I keep in contact with them and keep learning by reading and listening to people. Stay in contact with people and we will be learning. Read books. Books is the best way to enhance our knowledge. All right. Can you tell us about your first claim that you ever paid? Very interesting. This example I would share with a pride that a very dear friend of mine, by the blessing of God, I come from a very wealthy family. I had a friend who always used to come to me to borrow money. And whenever I gave him, he used to return me with pleasure. When he started a business, when I started insurance career, he never bought any insurance policy. And he specifically told me, Ram, please, I have lots of favors of you on me. but I don't believe insurance. Never try to sell me any insurance. I dislike insurance. I said, okay, I will never sell you any insurance. Let us be friends. But one day, I don't know what happened. I just took my car and went to him. I told him specifically, come on, my friend, sign here. And I don't know what pressure I had in my voice that he signed. I said, come on, pull the checkbook. And he issued a check. I came back after 3 weeks. When I went to deliver the policy, he told me, Ram, you have forcibly, out of obligation, I have signed it and given you this check, and you have sold me insurance policy, which I had asked you not to sell me. However, I shall never not continue this policy. This last premium I have paid ever in my life. Now, regretfully, that's a regret truly. After 4 months, all of a sudden I hear that he passed away out of heart attack. Now his family was moderate. They did not have enough surplus funds. Therefore, he used to borrow from me. Now that policy which I gave him in 1987, it was $100,000. And thereafter, with the $100,000 in 1987, it was a big amount. And his family yet remembers, and they survived on this $100,000. They grew on it. And his children, they still remember me, and they come and bow down in front of me that, Uncle Ram, it was you who have helped us, and today we are surviving, all of us, with dignity. So that is the pride which gives me that first claim when I paid, although it was a forcibly sale, but it made me satisfied that I did save first family in my career. And thereafter, this kind of several examples happen whenever I settle the claim. The blessings which we receive, friends, there is no other blessing than getting from the families of the deceased. Even our mother, her blessing does not have that weightage which outsiders' blessings are there. So whenever we settle any claim, the abundant blessings, they come on us, and we flourish with that.
So guys, do you realize I keep saying the words sign here? I learned that from him, right? He even says that even today, sign here. He did that in 1987. I do that in 2021 till today. So every time that I told you, right, that is my closing strategy. Sign here. I learned that from him. It's the most simple closing strategy. Asking for the signature. I think that is one of the biggest mistakes that we all make, is we forget to ask for the signature. And you heard him say it, right? He said exactly those words to this client who doesn't want to buy, and he just said, sign here, let's move on.
Sanjay, let me ask Ram a question here about the family, and after his answer, we will give the floor to Lucas to ask some question, because we want also to hear from Mr. Charalambos. Ram, what does the family represent to you? Does the upgrading of your family contribute to self-improvement?
Naji, the purpose of life is family. And if we keep our family with us, today families have become nuclear. Therefore, every time, keep family bonded with us, and be assured that our family support will encourage our friends to be with us. Because wherever we go, if you go to any party, and if we are single, now this message is to you. If you are single, there is a different respect. But when we are with the family, there is a different welcome. So always, whenever you are with the family, you are more respected. And therefore, I had realized this 40 years ago when I got married, that my wife is the best companion to me. No companion can come closer to the relationship with my wife. And therefore, she is not my wife only. She is the best friend I have. And till today, we have got the same relationship, family bonding. And I took my family, my wife, my children along with me everywhere, wherever I went.
MDRT.
In 1989, close to 89, we went to MDRT, where I went with my family. I took my children with me, and I introduced Sanjay to MDRT. At the time, he was hardly 5 or 6 years old. So to know what is MDRT, what kind of rush is there, he could not go inside, but he could see from the distance. Children have got different feelings and senses. He could sense the warmth around, with the vibrations of all those top producers around, that what kind of MDRT is there, and that went in his subconscious. And today he became the youngest MDRT in the world, because he saw MDRT pleasure at the age of 5 or 6. So keep your children and family with you, and be assured that they are the purpose of our life.
You see, Naji, I I was at MDRT at the age of 5. It was not 19. I was attending MDRT when I was 5 years old. So I was truly the youngest person to be there.
Okay, guys, let's make the action now. One question for Ram, one question for Mr. Charalambos, and we will make the third all around. Okay, Lucas, the floor is yours.
Εγώ θέλω να ρωτήσω τον κύριο Χαράλαμπο αν είχε τώρα κάποιον νέο που ξεκινά τώρα το επάγγελμα του ασφαλιστή, ποια θα ήταν η συμβουλή που θα του έδινε αυτή τη στιγμή?
Ασφαλιστή. Θα έλεγα ότι πρέπει να υπάρχει όρεξη, τιμιότητα, εργατικότητα και προγραμματισμός.
Η ερώτηση που πάντα θέλω να κάνω στον κύριο Χαράλαμπο και θέλω να την ακούσουν όλοι. Τα τελευταία 12 χρόνια που πηγαίνω στα συνέδρια του MDRT, βλέπω ότι ο κύριος Χαράλαμπος είναι πάντα μαζί μας. Τα τελευταία 12 χρόνια έχει παρακολουθήσει 10 συνέδρια. Ποιος είναι ο λόγος που τον κάνει να συνεχίζει και να μην χάνει συνέδριο του MDRT?
Διότι διαβίου μάθηση, επανάληψη και επαλήθευση των γνώσεών μου και με αυτόν τον τρόπο βγάζω συμβόλαια.
Και μια τελευταία ερώτηση πριν να πάμε στον επόμενο. Τι σας βοήθησε να φτάσετε σε εκεί που βρίσκεστε τώρα? Τι σας βοήθησε και βάζετε αυτούς τους μεγαλύτερους στόχους και ποιες συμβουλές έχετε να δώσετε σε άλλους ασφαλιστές που θέλουν να ξεκινήσουν μια παρόμοια διαδρομή?
Με βοήθησε πάρα πολύ η εταιρεία μου, η Universal Life. Η συνεργάσιμη σύζυγός μου και οπωσδήποτε η έξυπνη βοηθός μου. Αυτά είναι τα κύρια χαρακτηριστικά. Δεν κάνετε ερωτήσεις όπως έγραψαμε.
Νάτζη, θέλεις να συνεχίσω με περισσότερες ερωτήσεις στον κύριο Χαράλαμπο ή θέλετε να προχωρήσουμε και με άλλους ομιλητές?
Yeah, I would like to ask him a question. What is his biggest career mistakes and what he learned from this mistake? The question is for you.
Για να είμαι ειλικρινής, σφάλματα δεν θυμούμαι να έκανα. Μάλλον έκανα καλές δουλειές. Δεν θυμάμαι καθόλου ένα σοβαρό σφάλμα. Η πρώτη μου καλύτερη εμπειρία ήταν όταν συμβούλευσα έναν πελάτη μου για σκοπούς φόρου κληρονομιάς τότε. Υπήρχε ο φόρος κληρονομιάς, τώρα καταργήθηκε στην Κύπρο. Του έκανε ένα συμβόλαιο 1.000.000 λίρες, δηλαδή κάπου 1.700.000 ευρώ. Και στα 4 χρόνια πέθανε. Και έδωσα επιταγή 1.700.000 ευρώ. Αυτό είναι ένα από τα καλύτερα μου καλά παραδείγματα.
This wasn't a mistake. This is a great service.
Όχι, λάθη είπαμε, δεν θυμάμαι να έκανα λάθη. με μιλώ με μεγάλα λάθη. Μικρό λάθη, εντάξει, δεν είναι ζήτημα να τα θυμάμαι. Μόνο καλά έκανα. Λάθη δεν έκανα.
Okay, let me here ask Ram. Ram, what do you advise now the new agent or the agent who are suffering? You know that we have this COVID-19 and this problem and the problem in Lebanon, for example, and some other country. What do you advise the agent all around the world, Ram?
The world has become very small. Don't be afraid. At this moment, COVID has restricted our traveling, but the Zoom or the video conferencing has made life very easy. If we see in past, Sanjay used to travel every week 3 times a day. When he went from here 3 days in a week to Singapore, he was in Singapore. Then again he had to come back, and if he had to go to Hong Kong, he would go for 3 days to Hong Kong and he would stay in Hong Kong. But today with video conferencing, in the morning he is in Singapore, after 2 hours he is in Hong Kong, and at night he is in Canada. So he is in a globe in a day. Therefore, the time has changed. Change the modern methods and be everywhere. Stay in touch with your friends. It has become more easier, and be assured that sales will take place. Nowadays, everywhere it is said on the touch screen we can do everything. Follow that method and be in touch. When this COVID is gone, again start traveling, explore the new markets. I did that in my young age when I used to travel wherever possible. If I had one friend, I just went there and established the contact and started selling. Now I will quote with a pride that during my young age, I sold insurance in the pilgrimage, I sold insurance in the graveyard, I sold insurance in the flight, I sold insurance at the airport. So this kind of opportunities do exist. Wherever we meet anybody surviving on this earth, he is our prospect. We have to have a knack how to convince anybody we meet that please, it is in your interest. Whatever I do, my survival is no issue. I'm par excellence, but it is your family who needs to be protected. And this is how we can conclude the sales when we meet personally somebody. But today, modern technology, Sanjay has taught me these new techniques, that how he is globally in a day from one end to another end. Therefore, adopt the new technologies and follow it. And on e-signatures, everything could be done. Insurance companies are accepting, and now all the more chances are coming to sell insurance, because soon new conditions will be more difficult. Focus on your clients or prospects that listen, if you don't buy now, your policy will be less beneficial than today, and you need to buy now, not tomorrow. It is now or never, and this is how you can conclude the sales, which I do even today. Naji, you remember when I started in this whole COVID era, this is exactly what he told me. He's like, Sanjay, nothing has changed. Go back to the basics. Keep it going back to the basics. You are still using the same conversation. You work with a client in Canada, you work with a client in Dubai, you work with a client in Singapore. Nothing has changed in terms of your sales. Today, you're doing video conferencing. That's the only difference. Before, you were sitting with people. So what has changed for you? He told me that. He's like, what has changed? You're sitting at home. You're sitting at home, so what? You're still talking to people anywhere in the world. So how does that stop your sales?
Let me ask Mr. Tolani one more question. How do you define success? What success means to you, Mr. Tolani?
Personal satisfaction, whatever we do in our life. Be with your family, love your children, love your spouse, and love your clients. Your prospects and clients are your backbone. But before them, your family is your backbone. So be with your family and everything else will follow. So success is be loved by the family, maintain the relationship with the relatives and family friends. Today, Naji and me, we hardly meet, but we have so close relationship and bonding with each other that whenever we get an opportunity, we greet each other and compliment each other on the WhatsApp or on the Facebook. Why?
because of that bonding and relationship. To maintain relationship, and that is success. Today, Naji loves me, I love Naji, without meeting much in the life. Hardly we have met 4 or 5 times in the life. Probably hardly. Yet we respect each other. Why? That relationship. So maintain relationship, and that is self-satisfaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. Ram, you was talking about selling everywhere, in the airplane, in the airport, everywhere. And you know, today, Mr. Charalambos, he sent us lots of pictures, and many of his picture was selling on the plane, was giving a policy, delivering a policy the day when the people were getting married. Mr. Charalambos, can you tell us how you make it inside the church to sign a contract?
Το είχα μέσα μου. Το είχα μέσα μου όπου βρεθώ και όπου βρισκόμουν, όπως είπατε προηγουμένως, είναι παντού σε όλον τον κόσμο υποψήφοι πελάτες. Μπορούσα να είμαι στο ψαρτήριο, στην εκκλησία και στο διάλειμμα μιλούσα με το ψάρτη εκεί για ασφάλειες το διάλειμμα. Και μπορεί στο τέλος να τον έβανα να υπογράψει πάνω στο ψαρτήριο. Πήγα μέσα στο ιερό και έκανα στον ιερέα ασφάλεια για τα παιδιά του. Όπως είπα πρωτήτερα, μεσάνυχτα πήγα στο νοσοκομείο, είχα διασυνδέσεις με νοσοκόμες και υπόγραψε μου ένα αντρόγυνο ασφάλειας ζωής. Μιλούμε μεσάνυχτα. Δηλαδή, όπου βρεθόμουν, να σας πω και μια ιστορία, πήγα στην Αμερική σε ένα γάμο, σε έναν φιλικό μου γάμο, και εκεί που περιμέναμε να ετοιμαστεί το αντρόγυνο, έβγαλα από την τσέπη μου proposal και το συμπλήρωσα σε έναν από τους φίλους που ήταν εκεί. Και το ταχυδρόμησα στην Κύπρο, παρακαλώ, από τη Νέα Νιόρκη. Πριν έρθω εγώ στην Κύπρο, το proposal ήταν στην εταιρεία. Έχω και το άλλο. Ενώ εθάβαμε μία συγγένισσα της γυναίκας μου, με ρώτησε ο ιερέας εκεί, τι δουλειά κάνεις, φίλε? Του απάντησα, ασφαλιστής. Και τι μου απαντά? Είναι ωραίο πράγμα οι ασφαλείες. Τι ήθελα να ακούσω? Είχα proposal στην τσέπη μου, πήγα στο γραφείο του κτηνητηρίου και μου υπόγραψε ασφάλεια. Έχω πάρα πολλά παραδείγματα, δηλαδή στο πιλωτήριο. Πηγαίναμε στην Αθήνα και ρώτησα ποιος είναι ο πιλωτός, μου λέει είναι ο Κωνσταντίνος Τάρε. Του είχα μιλήσει πρωτήτερα φυσικά. Πήγα στο πιλωτήριο και μου υπέγραψε μέσα στο πιλωτήριο ασφάλειας ζωής. Πάρα πολλά παραδείγματα που είχα στη ζωή μου και ο λόγος είναι ότι πάντοτε είχα στην τσέπη μου proposal και πάντοτε μιλούσα για ασφάλειες. Και μέχρι σήμερα όταν με ρωτούν οι φίλοι, Χαράλαμπε, τι κάνεις? Απαντώ ασφάλειες. Το comment που απαντώ είναι, αντί να πω είμαι καλά, απαντώ ότι κάνω ασφάλειες. Έγινε έμφυτο μέσα μου η ασφάλιση ζωής. Ευχαριστώ.
Mr. Charalambos, I have a question. Knowing all these stories, what do you think are the challenges we have to face in this profession? What do you think we have a challenge to face?
Οι προκλήσεις είναι ότι βλέπω στη ζωή πώς εξελίσσεται δηλαδή η υγεία του καθενός, τα προβλήματα που έρχονται και αντιμετωπίζονται και πραγματικά με κάνει να νιώθω ότι το επάγγελμα του ασφαλιστή είναι ένα λειτουργήμα. Γι' αυτό και έχω μέσα μου συνέχεια ότι το να πουλώ ασφάλεια ζωής σαν να κάνω ένα λειτουργήμα στο συνάνθρωπο μου, στο φίλο μου, στο συγγενή μου. Αυτό είναι το μυστικό.
Okay, let me hear go back to Dubai, to Ram. Ram, I still remember one time I was in your office waiting for my brother Sanjay, and you told me, Naji, can I have a favor from you? And I told you, sure, Ram, please tell me. And you told me, Naji, I want to teach you how to sell the 15 million premium life insurance policy. I still remember that I told you, not 10 minutes take from my time, take 10 years from my life. So, Ram, can you tell us how you were selling? And I still remember talking about the big cases all the time. Can you share with us how you were solid in selling these big cases?
I use only example of Mr. Alfred Nobel, that be noble. Why only noble? You all can be noble. Like I teach today's children that why Sanjay alone is so educated. You all can be Sanjay Tolani. Why not to continue your education throughout? Never give up your academy and you shall be Sanjay Tolani. So similarly, Naji, use the example of Alfred Nobel, that you all can be Alfred Nobel. Today you don't have money, never mind. Buy an insurance policy, pay legal premium monthly or annually, and be assured that you will have funds enough to have your name registered ever in the history of the world. Therefore, easy to sell bigger policies. Start with 50 million, 100 million, and come back to 25, 30 million. But start bigger one.
Wow.
You know, Naji, let me just complete what he just said. I was sitting with him one day and he said, Sanjay, why are you making a quotation for $25 million for this client? Why don't you make a quotation of 100 million? What is the worst thing the client will tell you? It's too big. Okay, how much do you want? 25? Take 25, no problem. And that is exactly what I told you, that was a mistake that he taught me, that he made. And he said, Sanjay, you don't need to make that mistake. You should make different mistakes. We can't hear you, Naji.
Is it
Naji. Να ρωτήσω εγώ κάτι τον κύριο Χαράλαμπον τότε, αφού δεν ακούμε τον φίλο μας τον Νάτζη, για το πώς ορίζει την επιτυχία και τι ήταν αυτό που τον βοήθησε να φτάσει στην επιτυχία μέσω αυτού του επαγγέλματος.
Πρώτα πρέπει να έχεις όρεξη. Να εργάζεσαι με τιμιότητα και εργατικότητα και να προγραμματίζεσαι. Αυτά είναι τα κύρια χαρακτηριστικά στο επάγγελμα μας.
Και κάτι άλλο, κύριε Χαράλαμπε, θα ήθελα να μας περιγράψεις τώρα σε αυτήν την ηλικία που από ό,τι μας είπες εξακολουθείς και να εργάζεσαι και να παράγεις καθημερινά στην εργασία. Πώς είναι μια καθημερινή ημέρα για τον κύριο Χαράλαμπο?
Συνήθως μετά το πρόγραμμα μου κοιτάζω την εφημερίδα και αν κάποιος πελάτης μου έφυγε από τη ζωή, αμέσως ειδοποιώ την εταιρεία μου. Μπορεί να πάω και στην κηδεία ή να συλληπιθώ την οικογένεια. Μετά αρχίζω και βλέπω τα γενέθλια των πελατών μου, τα οποία έχω καταχωρημένα. Ξέρετε τι σημασία έχει να πιάνεις τον πελάτη σου στα γενέθλια? Τον ενθουσιάζεις, τον ευχαριστείς. Και μάλιστα από αυτήν τη συνομιλία με τα γενέθλια τον ρωτώ ποια είναι η οικογενειακή του κατάσταση, σαν έκαμε παιδιά, αγκόνια. Επίσης και τις ονομαστικές εορτές. Ολόχρονα συνηθίζω και βλέπω ποιος γιορτάζει σήμερα, name day, την ονομαστική του. Πάλι το ίδιο. Του εύχομαι ή αν είναι
Μάλιστα.
πάρα πολλοί, θα στείλω SMS. Και αυτό νιώθουν οι πελάτες μου ολόχρονα ότι τους θυμούμε και ενδιαφέρομαι για αυτούς. Αλλά είναι και μια εμπειρία, μια ευκαιρία να επικοινωνώ με τους ανθρώπους μου. Και οπωσδήποτε μετά από το τηλεφώνημα κάτι βγάζω. Δηλαδή, αν ο πελάτης μου έκανε αγκόνια, αν έκαμε, μεγάλωσε την οικογένεια, αν πάντρεψε τα παιδιά του, και πιάνω συνέχεια σημειώσεις. Ένα παράδειγμα, ας πούμε, χτες τηλεφώνησα σε μια πελάτισσα, τις οποίους πάντρεψα πριν 2-3 χρόνια. Και μου λέει, είμαι έγκυος και το Μάιο θα γεννήσω. Μέσα Μαΐου θα γεννήσω. Πήρα αμέσως σημείωση ότι Μάιο θα πάω να κάνω σπουδαστικό σχέδιο. Αυτά είναι τα κύρια χαρακτηριστικά, ενώ από την επικοινωνία στις ονομαστικές ή στα γενέθλια των πελατών μου. Με βοηθά πάρα πολύ αυτό το σχέδιο που έχω.
Και κάτι τελευταίο, κύριε Χαράλαμπε. Πώς ξεχωρίσατε από τους άλλους που εργάζονταν στο ίδιο επάγγελμα με εσάς, στον τομέα σας?
Όπως είπα και στην ομιλία μου, έχω 3 στόχους. Την εκκλησία, την οικογένεια μου και τη δουλειά μου. Αυτά είναι τα 3 χαρακτηριστικά που εφαρμόζω εδώ και 65 χρόνια.
Ο Νάτζι είναι μαζί μας?
Yes, yes, can you hear me? Yeah, excellent, excellent.
Very well. Very well.
I think Rima, she has a question for Mr. Shalalambos.
I want to ask you why you are keep on going to the MDRT meeting, why you are keeping your membership with the MDRT. And here I want to ask all the members to please register for the 2021 MDRT annual meeting and membership. It's a nice reminder, please. It's you have till the end of this month before paying the extra fee.
Διότι πιστεύω ότι με ωφελεί. Αυτά που ακούω για 3 ημέρες περίπου, παρόλο που τα ξέρω, τα γνωρίζω, αλλά κάνω ένα refresh, δηλαδή κάνω μια επαλήθευση στον εαυτό μου. Και πιστεύω ότι με βοηθά πάρα πολύ. Γνωρίζω κόσμο, συναδέλφους από όλον τον κόσμο, ακούω εμπειρίες και αυτό με βοηθά πάρα πολύ. Γι' αυτό λέω ότι ως που ζω, μπορεί και με το καροτσάκι να πηγαίνω στο MDRT. Λυπήθηκα πέρσι που λόγω COVID δεν τα κατάφερα να πάμε στην Αμερική.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Ram, I still remember. Let's go back to Ram. I still remember one time I was listening to you talking with the client, and you were telling him, "Look, Mr. Prospect, if you buy from me, I will put some cherry on the top." Can you continue for us this phrase?
Very interesting. I tell my clients that if you buy from me, be assured that there is a backup of services for next generation of you. Because today I am a senior age, the chances of me going, because he was a young client, I said chances of me going are far earlier than you. But when you are going, you have got somebody to look after you, and that cherry is my son. So my second generation has taken over from me, and he is more effective than me in the business today. Be assured that he can give you better services until your children grow. So let this be a generation services from me, and that is the cherry which I share with people. So anybody who comes second generation in the business, it's the benefit of second generation cashing out the first generation's contact. You know, Naji, basically, I get to service all his clients for free because he earns the money, I do the servicing. So, guys, all of you who are planning to give up your services, get your children in the business. They will do the servicing for you. So you don't have to worry about it.
Sanjay, because you were saying this, so was your father Ram the source of your inspiration or a source of challenge?
You know, a lot of people say, Sanjay, you got life very easy. A lot of people say, Sanjay, it must be so easy because your father is so big in the business. So it must be so easy for you to do this business. What a lot of people don't realize is his shoes are so big that I had to wait for my feet to become big enough to fit in his shoes. Guys, a lot of us don't promote this business to our second generation. There's one thing I can tell you. His proudest moment today is the fact that I'm sitting next to him. His proudest moment today is knowing that we are together in this business and together we are growing. I think one of the biggest dreams for any father is to see his son or his daughter become bigger than them. And that is what he is noticing today. The reason why he's so proud, by the way, guys, this is the first time dad is sharing in a public platform like this. He's a very private person. He doesn't like to talk in private, talk to sessions like this. He likes to do one-on-one. Naji, he has sat with you in the office so many times, but he never does a public session. And today, when you told that, Sanjay, can you get dad to speak? The only thing that he asked me was like, what should I share? And I told him, I was like, Dad, what you shared with me is exactly what you should share with everyone else. And guys, if I could tell you one thing, this is a business that we should promote to your children. This is a very noble profession. Every single legend that has spoken today will tell you exactly the same thing, that this is a noble profession. And our children need to know about the important work that we do. Guys, that's all I can leave you with, that this is not going to get easier, but it will definitely be worth all the effort that you put into it.
Wow, Sanjay, wow, really wow with all what you're saying. And yes, as you said, with these three legends, really, and we're so sorry for the bad connection that for this time, Mr. Habib Shammas, he couldn't continue with us. In the future, we promise you that we will get him again and again and to share his experience and his knowledge and his inspiration about this life. And Lucas, one time you told me that you have a nice experience with Mr. Charalambos when you were asking him about a trip to USA. Can you tell us, you share with us how he reacted when you told him that the MDRT is in New Orleans?
Έναν από τα χαρακτηριστικά που έχει ο κύριος Χαράλαμπος είναι ότι ξέρω από πριν τον ρωτήσω την απάντηση του για το κύριε Χαράλαμπε, τον επόμενο χρόνο το ταξίδι π.χ. θα είναι στο Λος Άντζελες. Θα πάμε. Ξέρω από πριν ότι η απάντηση θα είναι φυσικά. Και βλέπουμε έναν άνθρωπο 85 χρόνων να έχει τόσα όνειρα, τόσους στόχους, να συνεχίζει να επιμορφώνεται και να μαθαίνει συνεχώς. Και όπως μιλούσα προηγουμένως μαζί του, θέλει να σας πει πολύ μια ιστορία που του συνέβηκε και στιγμάτισε και την πορεία του στο επάγγελμα. Κύριε Χαράλαμπε.
Ναι, έχω πολλά παραδείγματα φυσικά, πάρα πολλές εμπειρίες. Συγκινούμουν όταν έφευγε κάποιος φίλος μου από τη ζωή και εγώ πήγαινα και έπαιρνα το τσεκ στην οικογένεια του και με τόσον ενθουσιασμό, τόση χαρά που αν έλειπα εγώ δεν θα είχαν αυτή την επιταγή. Θυμούμαι κάποτε ταξίδεψα στην Κίνα πάλι με δώρο της Universal και έκανα σταθμό στο Ντουμπάι. Ήξερα ότι ένας φίλος μου είχε γιο πιλότο στο Ντουμπάι. Με φιλοξένησε αυτός ο πιλότος και μάλλον πριν του τηλεφωνήσω, μου λέει, το ρώτησα αν με ξέρει καθόλου. Και μου απάντησε, πώς να μην σε ξέρω, κύριε Στυλιανίδη, που αν έλειπες εσύ, δεν θα ήμουν τώρα εγώ πιλότος. Δεν ξέρετε πόση συγκίνηση μου έδωσε αυτός ο άνθρωπος, που με το σπουδαστικό που έκανα τότε, βοήθησε τον πατέρα του να γίνει πιλότος. Και όταν πήγα στο Ντουμπάι για transit για την Κίνα, με φιλοξένησε, δεν φαντάζεστε τη φιλία που ήταν ένας άγνωστος μου πελάτης. Αλλά με την ασφάλεια που του έκανα του πατέρα του για σπουδαστικό, έγιναμε φίλοι εκ το πουθενά. Μια άλλη εμπειρία, είχα ένα traffic accident πριν χρόνια και έσπασα την κλίνη και την περώνη. Και στην κλινική που ήμουνα, περίπου για 30 μέρες στο γύψο, είχα μαζί μου proposals personal accident. Όποιοι φίλοι μου ήρθαν, δεν εγκλήτωσε κανένας. Του έκανα personal accident. Ήταν λίγο αστείο, αλλά εκεί μιλούσα για πρακτικά. Δεν μιλούσα θεωρίες, δεν μιλούσα πιθανόν να έχεις accident. Έδειχνα το πόδι μου που ήταν στο γύψο ολόκληρο και επίθουν τον οι πελάτες. Έκανα τα περισσότερα personal accident. Δεν γλίτωσε κανένας φίλος που ήρθε στην κλινική να με επισκεφτεί. Μια άλλη εμπειρία ίσως να είναι αστεία. Πήγα κάπου στα βουνά για να κάνω ασφάλειες σε δασοφύλακες. Πήγαινα στα καφενεία όπου σύχναζαν οι δασοφύλακες και περίμενα να τελειώσουν το παιγνιόχαρτο τους οτιδήποτε και για να τους πλευρίσω για ασφάλεια. Γυρίζοντας πίσω στο σπίτι μου, ήταν κάπου αργά το βράδυ, είχε τόση πολύ ομίχλη που δεν μπορούσα να οδηγήσω. Κατέληξα σε ένα μοναστήρι και ζήτησα βοήθεια. Και μετά από πολλή επιμονή, μου άνοιξα η καλογύρι και κοιμήθηκα εκεί. Και μάλιστα το πρωί, η ώρα 3:30, παρακολούθησα τη λειτουργία και έξω χιόνιζε. Είναι μία από τις πολλές μου εμπειρίες που είχα στη ζωή μου. Πέρασα πολύ δύσκολες μέρες, διότι τότε για να βρούμε μια ασφάλεια έπρεπε να κυνηγήσουμε που είχε τακτικό μισθό, δασοφύλακες, όπως είπα πρωτήτερα, αστυνομικούς, δημόσιους υπαλλήλους, και έπρεπε να τρέξω και εκτός της πόλεως, εκτός Λευκωσίας, για να βρω αυτά τα επαγγέλματα που είχαν σίγουρα λεφτά, σίγουρο μισθό. Είπαμε, εμπειρίες υπάρχουν πάρα πολλές, αλλά θέλω μέρες να τις αναφέρω.
Wow, really wow. Mr. Sharambas, you're talking about how the importance we do in our job, that we build the future for our clients and their family. And here, and to make them proud of their children and their future. And here I want to ask Mr. Ram. Ram, what you are most proud of? Your work, or you are more proud from your son?
I would not be able to differentiate at all because both have its own characteristic. My son is the future of my life. He is the purpose of my life, and he has achieved beyond my expectations. I have done nothing great for him. I have done exactly what every parent does. So I gave him the best possible education, but he has been receptive that he went on studying continuously and he went par excellence in his field. So this field is an excellent, which is my survival, and he is part of that. So both of them are equally important. Profession, because he is adopted as well, and he is very successful, par excellence than many people can imagine, and therefore he is the pride for me, which is definite. Now I would add something more here to today's seminar. There was a question asked to my Greek co-partner here that why do we go to MDRT? Now the answer which I can think that why do we go to temple or the church? In that atmosphere, we get positive vibrations and we get something to think about it. Therefore, when we go to MDRT, we see all positive vibrations around. And today's session, I have learned that which I was only proud of myself, I can see that my Greek counterpart is equally or more superior than me, that he could sell insurance to anybody who came to visit him. I had thought this is what I did only in my life. 12 years ago, I had a brain stroke and I was paralyzed. And when I was in the hospital, the doctor, the nurses, and their team, I sold them 9 people under one roof policy when I was in the hospital. So I thought it was only me alone. But today, after meeting my Greek counterpart, I know that I'm not only one. So when we go to MDRT, we meet this kind of top personalities who share their experience. They motivate us and they encourage us that, all right, you are on the same page as others. So thank you very much, my Greek counterpart, that you have encouraged me. What I have done is not alone me. You are par excellence. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Naji,
Wow.
Naji, something for you to realize, right? All top producers think alike. And that is something that people need to realize. To become a top producer, we have to adopt exactly what these legends are telling us today. And all the legends are sharing their experience. And if you realize there are so many things that are common that are happening. His granddaughter is entering the business today. Sylvia has entered the business. Congratulations for that. You see, when you pass on this business to the next generation, you are recognized of being a top producer because you have something to pass on. So every top producer in the world, you will see the same thing. You remember Solomon Hicks. His family has also joined the business. If you realize all top producers have a lot in common, and that is one thing that we forget, that it's not who you work with, it's not what you sell, it's exactly the same. You're selling the same product, I'm selling the same product. You're speaking to the same people, I'm speaking to the same people. The only question is, what is your story?
Wow. Rima.
Yeah. My question is to you, Mr. Ram. What is the latest trend you learned about during 2020, talking about learning, about technology? What was the latest trend?
Follow the technology and it will help you. It is the best friend we have today, technology. The life has become so easy that earlier, before 2020, me and Naji, we were never on Facebook or WhatsApp. Today we are there and we see the activity of each other. Today I see every day Sanjay's activity on Facebook. So that's the technology. Let us adopt new technologies and follow it. That is the best tool we have in today's present time. You know, Rima, let me complete what he just said. I was talking to him when this whole pandemic started, right? And I said, Dad, I don't know how I'll do my business. And he told me this at that time. He's like, Sanjay, come on. You're living in the 21st century. You have so much technology that's available to you. Why don't you use it to stay in touch with people? Go back to the basics. You have to start by staying in touch. Now, whether you use your phone, whether you use Zoom, whether you use Facebook, all these are different technologies to stay in touch with people. They are not something that will create sales for you, but they will allow you to build your sales force. They will allow you to build your sales strategy. And I remember him telling me this last year in February. Guys, as of today, in the next 2 days, Dad and I will be celebrating 365 days at home.
Wow. Wow.
Not stepping out of the home at all.
Wow.
Yet producing huge businesses. That's the best part. That yet producing huge businesses, not stepping out of the house at all in one complete year.
Wow. But it seems you're living in very big house. So you have all to turn around. So Lucas. Lucas.
Έλα, φίλε.
Yeah. Φίλε μου. Yeah. Tell me. Many times you told me and about the inspiration you take from Mr. Sharambus, the energy, how he always be there for any meeting. Can you share some ideas or ask Mr. Sharambo some questions to learn more from him, from his positive, as we see him as a hunter and as a person that he liked people and he liked to help people.
Όπως μιλούσαν τώρα ο πατέρας του ντόκτορ, το Λάνι, σκεφτόμουν την πρώτη φορά που είχα γνωρίσει τον κύριο Χαράλαμπο και μου έλεγε την ιστορία του. Θύμισε μου μόνο, κύριε Χαράλαμπε, ποια ήταν η χρονιά που ξεκίνησες το ασφαλιστικό επάγγελμα, ποια χρονιά ήταν?
55-56.
Το 55-56. Και αναρωτήθηκα αν υπήρχαν τότε standing order, email, πώς πληρώνονταν τότε τα συμβόλαια, και σκέφτομαι τώρα οι καινούργιοι ασφαλιστές έχουν τόσα όπλα, έχουν τόσες δυνατότητες, και όταν ένας άνθρωπος τότε έχει καταφέρει αυτό που έχει καταφέρει ο κύριος Χαράλαμπος, ο κύριος Ραμ, δεν ξέρω αν χωράει δικαιολογία για ό,τι και αν μου πούνε, και θέλω να μου μοιραστεί μαζί μας την εμπειρία τότε που ξεκίνησε. Νομίζω το πρώτο μεταφορικό μέσο του κύριου Χαράλαμπου φαντάζομαι ήταν το ποδήλατο.
Ποδήλατο.
Κύριε Χαράλαμπε.
Ναι.
Πόσο εύκολο ήταν τότε να κάνεις την εργασία σου?
Αντιλαμβάνεστε, πολύ δύσκολο. Και τότε ο κόσμος υπήρχε πρώτα απ' όλα πολύ μεγάλη φτώχεια. Λεφτά ήταν πάρα πολύ δύσκολα. Έπρεπε να πιάσουμε ορισμένους, είπαμε, που είχαν κάποιον σταθερό εισόδημα. Μετά, το αστείο είναι, μετά από το ποδήλατο, για να βγω έξω από τη Λευκοσία, ενοικίαζα μοτοσικλέτα για τα Σαββατοκυριακά. Και πήγαινα με μοτοσικλέτα στα χωριά, έκλεια τα συμβόλαια, αλλά τότε υπήρχε και το πρόβλημα της ιατρικής εξέτασης. Αφού λοιπόν πήγαινα στα χωριά, έκλεια τα συμβόλαια, έπρεπε μετά να πάω με κάποιον αυτοκίνητο για να πάρω τον γιατρό μαζί μου για να εξετάσει τους πελάτες που είδα. Μα τότε και 200 και 300 σαμασιόρτ να έκαναμε, έθελε η ιατρική εξέταση. Φανταστείτε τι δυσκολία τώρα να κρατώ ένα γιατρό ολόκληρο Σαββατοκυριακό για να εξετάσει τους πελάτες που είχα ασφαλίσει. Μια φορά θυμούμαι, πήγα κάπου σε ένα χωριό έξω από τη Λευκοσία και έκλεισα ένα συμβόλαιο και έβαλα τον πελάτη πάνω σε μοτοσικλέτα, τον πήγα στη Λεμεσό για να τον εξετάσει ο γιατρός και τον έφερα πίσω. Πραγματικά ήταν πάρα πολύ δύσκολο ο καιρός τότε. Πάρα πολύ δύσκολο. Πέρασα πολλές δυσκολίες, αλλά επειδή είχα το πείσμα μέσα μου, είχα την έννοια ότι έπρεπε να κλείσω συμβόλαια, τα κατάφερα. Πάλι στις δυσκολίες. Και είπαμε, χρήμα τότε δεν υπήρχε. Τα πρώτα συμβόλαια που έκαναμε τότε ήταν 2 λίρες το μήνα. Για φανταστείτε τι συμβόλαια αρχίζαμε. Και σαμασιόρ 500 λίρες τότε. Σαμασιόρ. Όχι δόση το μήνα. Όταν κλείαμε συμβόλαιο το 1.000 λιρών σαμασιόρ για 20 χρόνια, όπως είπαμε, ήταν ένα από τα καλύτερα μας συμβόλαια. Επενεούμαστε γιατί έκαναμε πελάτη με, δηλαδή κάπου 4-4,5 λίρες το μήνα η δόση. Είχαμε πλεονέκτημα τότε, τους δημόσιους υπαλλήλους είχαν ένα μεγάλο πλεονέκτημα. Τα επιλέγωνε η κυβέρνηση ολόκληρο το yearly premium και τους έκοβε με το μήνα το ασφαλιστρό. Για μας ήταν ένα μεγάλο πλεονέκτημα, διότι πιάναμε όλο το commission επιχρονιαίας βασεώς και ο πελάτης είχε μηνιαίως. Τον ευκόλυνε πολύ να του κόβουν από το τσεκ τη μηνιαία δόση. Αυτές ήταν οι πρώτες μου εμπειρίες.
Νομίζω με τον κύριο Χαράλαμπον δεν μπορούν να σταματήσουν ποτέ οι ιστορίες. Μακάρι να έχουμε χρόνο για να ακούμε συνέχεια ιστορίες από τις εμπειρίες που έχει ζήσει.
Ευχαριστώ. Εντάξει.
Φίλε Νάτζη.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lucas. And thank you, Mr. Sharamos, really. And before I go back to Ram, let me here repeat what was Rima saying. To all our friends, to all the agents, to all the life insurance agents who already qualified for MDRT, or they are already MDRT member, make sure to upload your application and to renew your MDRT qualification, because by 28 Feb, it will change the rate. So make sure to grab the opportunity, because as you are hearing from the top legends here, that MDRT is the place where you can learn, earn, and grow. And here, Ram, I want to ask you, as an engineer, because your background, it was in engineering, and you was working in UAE as engineering. How did you move to the life insurance profession? And what the big change make for your life?
I had seen few examples that how families suffered financially when breadwinner passed away. My elder brother lived in England and he shared with me, he said, Ram, there has to be something which you should think of. Then we discussed and we did brainstorming within ourselves that probably insurance is the only way when we can protect the families of the breadwinner. And therefore I decided and came into it. Now I will share something other than this subject, that how to sell bigger cases and why to sell bigger cases. Because we are not only 6 people on this screen here, there are hundreds of thousands of people who are listening to us behind, that why to sell bigger cases. Save a ship. Richer people, they need bigger insurances or insurances than a small man. Suppose if I am on a ship and if I see a bubble of air coming out of ship, it means water is coming in. So I will, and at the same time, if I see somebody falling down out of the ship, I am a best swimmer, but I will not save him. I will immediately put my hand on the bubble which I see and I scream, come on, help me. And I'll ask everybody to help me in the ship, because on the ship there are 2,000 people who need to be saved. So if we save the rich man, behind him, there are hundreds of families who are surviving. So in case if the rich man is not well insured or covered, his whole empire might collapse. Therefore, please friends, promote bigger sales and try to save the ship rather than an individual who is falling out of the ship. If I'm not clear, Sanjay will share this example, because I quote this again and again repeatedly to him, that Sanjay, save the ship rather than the individual who is falling out of the ship. Naji, I've always told you the story of the Titanic, right?
Titanic.
It is the Titanic that needs to be protected. He has told me this as a child. And every time I've heard him say that, it has changed the way I think. The bigger the ship, the more lifeboats you need. The bigger the ship, the more people you need to protect. Because when you protect a wealthy family, you're not just protecting that family, you're protecting the business it runs, you're protecting the society it works with. There are so many people, there are so many families that are dependent on those big businesses. It is very important to support them as much as we support the small families, because it's the small families that get supported by the bigger families. And every time when we are sitting down with the wealthy families, they will always tell you, I don't need insurance, I'm so rich. You sit down with the poor people, they will say, I don't have money, I can't buy insurance. And that is something that a lot of people don't realize, that we need to sit down with every single person that we meet and tell them, you are a ship, and each one of you, however big the ship or however small the ship, you need lifeboats. And the bigger the ship, the more lifeboats you need. It's as simple as that. And he has told me this a million times. And that's what I told you. You see, this is a passion overflow. There are a lot of things that everything that he has taught me, I've just put it into different words and I've shared that with everyone because that's what I have learned. And it's not changed over so many years. He's been practicing this for the last 40 years now. In 40 years, he's been saying exactly the same thing. And that's exactly what I'm continuing to say. And that's what advisors need to realize, that the basics in our business have not changed. And that is the most important thing in our business, that the basics do not change.
Rima, okay, the session, yes, I know that we need days and days and days to take all the information, all the experience from these two legends, really the living legends. Thank you so much, Ram, at this age to stay in front of the screen and to give us all this information, inspiration and motivation. And Mr. Sharambos, really, really, you are a role model for every one of us. And I can see the energy going out from you all the time. And this is what we show, what we see. It's the love of insurance that we have you have as a top people you pass in this industry, and from generation to the next, to the next, to the next. And all of the people who are watching us today, listening to us, as if you are a new agent or you are a top agent, just keep loving what you're doing and keep doing what you're doing, because people, they need us. Yes, people, they need us. They need a people that to show them that we care about them and we care about everything we do for this noble profession. Really, if you didn't take anything from this session, just this one idea, sure, it will change your mind and it change your business and it will take you to another level.
One last question for both our legend, Mr. Tolani and Mr. Shalalambo. When is the right time, in your opinion, when is the right time to retire in this business?
Why to retire? That is a question. We have to keep doing something and we keep talking something. So whenever we talk anything, why not talk about insurance? So even if I'm sick, even if I'm at the last breath of my life, I'm in the hospital, somebody is beside me, I have to talk to them. So why not to talk about insurance? That listen, if I'm suffering today it's me, tomorrow it could be you. So buy insurance now, otherwise you might have regrets. Therefore, never to retire. Until the last breath of my life, I'm not going to retire at least. That's what is my thought.
Yeah, before we close, we take the last question for Mr. Shalarambos. I want to tell all the people who is listening to us, we put the questions or a survey in the chat. Please make sure to fill it, just to make sure to enhance our webinars with the ideas that can help you, and to put hand in hands for everyone who's watching us, because we need to work hand in hands to take our profession to the next level. So, Mr. Shalarambos, before we close, the last question that Rima, she was asking you.
Θα κάνω και εγώ όμως μία ερώτηση πριν να ξεχάσω. Να ρωτήσω την αγαπητή Γεωργία πόσα συμβόλαια να υπέχει. Και θέλω τίμια να απαντήσει. Πόσα συμβόλαια, αγαπητή κυρία Γεωργία, έχετε? Ποιαν άλλη, Γεωργία, μιαν έχω.
He's asking Ram or...
Άρα το τέταρτο θα το κάνω εγώ. Πώς σας φαίνεται? Συμφωνάτε?
Oh man.
4, 5, 6 Νοεμβρίου θα σας δούμε. Θα έρθω οπωσδήποτε. Εντάξει.
Yes. And we hope that this COVID will finish, that we will see in Beirut, because in
Ναι,
four-
ναι, οπωσδήποτε. Θα έρθουμε οπωσδήποτε. Μην ανησυχείτε. Και θα φέρω και την οικογένεια μου.
and in this we need to tell Sanjay, if all the situation is good, we need also to see all your family and Ram with us here in Beirut 4, 5 and 6 November.
Όλοι, ναι, αυτό θα κάνουμε.
Excellent. So guys, anything, any one of you he want to add? Sanjay, Lucas?
I would just like to summarize something that I would love to leave with everyone that is listening into this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, this business is a beautiful business. It's a generational business. It is not just for you. This is a business that your family can continue to grow. And if there is one thing that I take away today, is that when I'm listening to all the three legends, it makes me believe that the path I am on is the correct path. I know I've always had mentors in my life. We will always have mentors in our life. And every mentor will guide you in a different direction. However, they come with the same mission statement. It is to grow and become better. So if there's one thing that you take away, it is that this is your business. And if you truly believe in this business, you will grow to the next level. So guys, thank you very much. Naji, thank you very much for putting this together. Lucas, thank you for moderating. Mr. Shariambos, it's a pleasure to meet with you, and it's been an absolute honor.
Εγώ το ίδιο. Ναι.
It's an absolute honor that we get to share this afternoon with you, because it reminds me of my father, it reminds me of my uncle, all the people who have allowed me to become who I am today. So it's an absolute pleasure. Rima, thank you very much for your moderation as well. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Wow, excellent, really excellent. We don't want to stop. Lucas, anything, brother, you want to add? And thank you for your time, and thank you for your patience. Do you have anything to add before we go, and after Turima and we close?
Απλώς, ειδικά το τέλος της συνάντησης νομίζω είναι πολύ ιδιαίτερο. Νιώθω πολύ όμορφα. Είχα ακούσει προηγουμένως την αγωνία του κύριου Χαράλαμπου που αναρωτιόταν για το επάγγελμα μας και πόσο εύκολο είναι κάποιος να κάνει ασφάλεια αυτή την εποχή, και νομίζω μετά το τέλος της συνάντησης θα έχει συνειδητοποιήσει ότι αυτό που κάνουμε είναι όπως την ιατρική. Βοηθούμε ανθρώπους, οικογένειες για να έχουν πιο εύκολες μέρες στο μέλλον. Μακάρι όλος ο κόσμος να συνειδητοποιήσει πόσο σημαντική δουλειά κάνουμε για τις οικογένειες. Και ελπίζω η Σίλβια να το αγαπήσει και αυτή μετά με αυτή τη συνάντηση και να είναι πιο δυνατά μαζί μας. Σε ευχαριστώ, Νάτζη, για την ευκαιρία αυτή που μας έχετε δώσει εδώ στην Κύπρο.
Thank you, Lucas. And before we close, and Rima, anything to add, my dear?
I want to thank you, to thank Naji for this great seminar, and thanks for inviting me. It's a real pleasure being between all these legends and learning from their experience. Thank you again, Naji. Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you. And before we close, really, I want to thank lots of people who's working hard to prepare for this webinar. From Legacy Builders team, Aline, Noor, and all the team, from Bliss team, from Expand and Jad Dagher team. Really, you're doing great job, especially with all what we're doing here live all the time, and to putting all this together. From Damcon company and Eli Damian and his brother and all the team, technical team here. Thank you so much, guys, for all the job. For Blue Grapes as the visual and preparing all the visual. Thank you so much, Roland and his team. And also, I want to thank also really from Athens, Georgia, and the team, and Mr. Zilisis. I hope this time I pronounce it very well. And at the same time, I want to thank Mirai Hamouche from Lebanon for the live translation. Really, you're doing great job for all of us. Thank you so much, guys. And sure, the big thanks is for the legend, for the three legends. They were with us today all the time. Closing the webinar, and this webinar is in heritage. We build the bridge between different generations, between the glorious past and the glorious future. Stay connected to people's life, keep learning, keep moving, use technology to transplant your feet into the future. The legend teach us to never stop, never retire, show gratitude to the life by working, and keep working to fulfill our mission in this life with our noble profession. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, all of you. God bless you. See you next month on 26th of March with Mr. Raja Haddad and Mr. Nakhl Al-Husseini. Thank you so much for all.
Thank you.
Also,
Yes,
and
sir,
also,
yes,
I'm
sir.
so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry because, you know, she's my sister, but I need to thank her, Layla Haddad Noura, for all the job you're doing. And the big thanks is for the man who's giving me day after day, me and my sister, all the energy to do what we're doing today. Abul Mish, God bless your soul. Love you all. Thank you.
Right. Yeah.